somewhere else to use it for.
Package it up, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they came up here then, like in the summer. They lived in Eugene's garage for a while. That was pretty crowded. And that's when they couldn't find a place, and that's when they went to
The caboose?
to the
train car?
boxcar.
Boxcar.
And I'll hunt and see where they are, but I have pictures of all that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, we were pretty hard up. We've been poor people all our life. I mean, we're not the upper crust.
Yeah.
They can talk about not having castes in this country if they want to, but I mean, there's the guys, the rich, and I never did see any of that trickle down that they talked about when Reagan was in.
I think my dad did okay for himself for a while. I mean, he was...
Well, he was a manager for Kmart.
Yeah. And back then, that was a pretty...
That was a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there was nothing wrong with his work.
Yeah.
And he had that little restaurant there, too. Mm-hmm. Denny Dogs.
Well, yeah, even back, when he was, more on the management side, he was basically working his way up.
He did all right. He did all right for himself.
And I think
there's poor and don't work, and there's poor and people that work and make their lives,
Yeah. Yeah, back then I think he was, middle class, and he lived the way he wanted to live, and then he got into the argument, with the guy that they demoted him, and his pride wouldn't let him demote. Right? Is that what happened?
He was a lead.
Yeah.
They don't back down too much.
Right. Right.
They used to be a chain of what was the name of that Grace worked for? If I could tell you, you may have heard of, but the Hickey Brothers. Have you ever heard of Hickey Brothers? Hickey Brothers. They were a big chain outfit, and they had lunch counter, and they had maybe drug type thing, but it was basic. Your grandmother worked for them and she pulled all the people out on a strike for them. Really? Because of something about wages or something she didn't like.
Yeah. And
she closed them down for a day or two.
Yeah. So,
I mean, when you get talking about the Scotch people and the Lees and the Moslems and the stuff like that, they don't, they get into some pretty hefty stuff sometimes.
Right.
Back in, when they had the mines at Mystic, they used to have strikes. This was before unions and stuff, and they would strike. And, of course, anybody that went across the line or worked when they were on strike, they called them scabs. And my family and the Muslim family were on opposite sides of the Duma flip during one of these times. And then, of course, Gracie's mother married. That was a kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoy type thing. What was her name? What was Gracie? She had about 10 names. And I can't think of her name right now. It's there, but it won't come out. Anyhow, she married Harvey, Jeannie Boslem. She married Harvey Seeley, and they were on the opposite sides when it come to stuff like that. Yeah. And so there was always conflict from the type with Gracie's parents. Family problems, kind of like you've heard of the Hatfield and McCoys. Okay, it was kind of essence.
Over stuff that really didn't matter, right?
Well, it mattered to them.
Yeah, but in the big picture, it was tit for tat, or
anyhow,
or for control. Somebody wanted to control the situation.
Well, Harvey came home and found Gracie and her clothes on a buggy on the sidewalk. Jeannie locked him out when they split up. So she was raised first with one grandma and then the other. Wow. So Grace did not have a good childhood. As you talk about childhood, she went from place to place. Her grandmother Boslam basically raised her.
Really?
With
Wow.
her family.
Wow.
So the world, as far as Gracie is concerned, the world rose and set in Grandma Boslam, you know.
Yeah.
She was a feisty little old thing.
Yeah.
She was nice.
Grandma Boslam,
They're all nice, but they're feisty.
Yeah, she was the one, I think, driving the dirt bike in the newspaper.
It was not me. I know it wasn't me. Well,
yeah. How old was she when she passed? 90-something?
Huh?
How old was Grandma Boslam?
I don't know. She was old, just like my mom.
96 something, right? 90 something, right?
I don't remember how old she lived.
I remember my dad. He had a newspaper article where she was riding a dirt bike at 90.
No, he could have had some on that side. See, I wouldn't know all about that.
Yeah.
But I do remember Mom.
And where would I go to get that side of the family? There's nobody left, right?
Huh?
There's nobody left on that side of the family, is there?
Oh, I imagine her sister's still alive. She had a half sister.
Where are they at?
Jeannie married somebody named Howe, and so Gracie's got 2 half brothers and a half sister.
In Missouri, you think, or?
Last I knew about, and I knew the half sister too. What was her name? Joan. She lived in Rockford, and her name was Howe when they. As a child, Jeannie married a Howe.
Okay.
And so the 2 boys.
Is it possible you can take a look and see if you can track them?
If I ever find anything, I'll let you know. But I don't think I've got anything on her. But the year I got out of high school, I stayed, like I said, at Grace and Kenneth and babysat the kids. And then I went to work as a nurse's aide, too, at a hospital there. Because Joan, her name was Joan, she came down and stayed with Grace and them for a while that summer. So she and I were friends in that sense. And was it Junior and what was one of them was named Junior and one was named James, I think, the boys, the 2 brothers. And if I'm not mistaken, James was killed in the war. But Junior now lived, you know, like the rest of us. I mean, grew and blah, blah. But if I'm not mistaken, James, I kind of had a crush on him. He was youngest one. And he was leaving for service.